What's happening, y'all? It's your boy here, TB, the S&B. Happy first trading session of the year. New year, new us. We're not really. Doing the same old shit. We going short on this market right here. This thing is cooked up and ready to dump. I hope you guys watched maybe a video or two of mine I made over the weekend. I was talking about what I was expecting today, and I would say I was pretty spot on what happened today. We got a nice wicked gap up that was just immediately, and I mean immediately, slapped down to the ground. Like, holy moly. We open up on a nice gap up. We get some solid buying. Very, look at this volume. Look at the volume on this opening candles. I mean, this was the red flag. Can you see that volume down there? Look at that. Just nothing. I mean, first opening green candles of the new year and just no volume. And immediately tapped resistance, 386, and dumped. And now we are 100% right about what I was talking about. I told y'all, watch out for this here. I told y'all. I was telling you, you guys got to watch these videos daily, baby. I told you, watch out for that bear flag. If I can get to the 1 hour chart, which I was already at, I said, watch out for this bear flag. Look at that trend line. Boom, boom. Watch out for the fake out breakout to the upside. I've been telling y'all, they've been doing this so much to us this year. We've been getting these nasty fake outs to the upside on these setups that do look bullish, but we know better because we know where resistance is at. We know where supply is at, where sellers are waiting. So we know better here at S&B. We knew better than to see that big green in the morning and just completely bull fucking FOMO into calls. And we actually took a put today and made a small little gain on it. Nothing to brag about crazy like today, but it looks like we have a half hour left in the market today, and it looks like we are recovering. We have bounced off of 377. We've recovered about $3, so a solid reversal to the upside right now. But this bull flag was just money. I mean, it was so money. Or bear flag, I told you all, watch that fake out breakout. Watch it, and we're still in this box. So that's another thing we have to consider. We are still inside this box, and it looks like right now it looks as if we are going to just see a return to the point of the control. You can see the point of control right there, that red line. That's where our volume is. That's where bears and bulls have been in agreement that this is where price should be. Whenever we get below that, it's a little magnet, and sure enough, it's a magnet. And now look at right where we bounce off of. Right where we bounce. Look at that wick. Look at that right there. Look at it. Look at it. Look at that. Boom, right off of that twice today. Twice we bounced off of that, wicked off that hard. And so now we know. Now we know where support is. We just keep getting these higher lows. Higher low, so on and so forth. We do have this gap to the downside that we filled slightly, but there's still some gap left to the downside. So now I am going to wait and see where we go from here. I imagine we return to that point in control. We maybe return to 382 by the end of today. Who knows? We are seeing some bullishness right here, some buying, but ultimately kind of what I expected from the day. And I love when I am just my projections actually come true. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. But looking at the futures did some crazy stuff. Futures opened up yesterday, sky high, dumped, went back up. 3,900 on futures is resistance. 100%. 3,900 on the futures is where resistance is. We also got the fake breakouts. Well, this is actually a solid breakout. This is a tradable breakout right here. A nice 1% move to the upside. But look at that. Came back down, dumped back into the wedge. Now the wedge is just extending itself like wedges typically do. Bada bing, bada boom. So still in this bear flag, still looking really bearish. But another thing I have to mention is that when we are going so sideways, I mean, I got to talk about this. If you guys have been struggling these past couple of weeks because you're a breakout trader, I completely, fully understand. We have been in this range now from 386 or about 387 on SPY to about 374. We have been in this range for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 trading sessions now. That is well over 2 weeks of Garbo trading. I mean, just trash. Or that's even more. That's almost like 2.5 because we had a couple of 4-day trading weeks recently. So What does that mean? That means when you see that big consolidation, a lot of consolidation, you see like double-digit days in a nice range, that means the breakout, whichever way it may be, is going to be a big one. We have seen this in the past all year. We've seen it in the past. We saw it over here with the CPI. That's the example I always go back to. I love this little, we had this perfect box over here of just hard consolidation. We saw it over here where we actually called this out too. I remember this. We saw this choppy ass range where we were just chopping around. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in there. We break out to the upside, but wait, it's a fake out, and we dumped. And that's what I'm looking for now. I'm watching for that fake out, breakout to the upside, which is just been what it's been doing all year. And you just have to, I know I do this all the time, and I know you shouldn't try to go into the market with a bias, but you should go in with a plan. My plan was to be bearish today, so that's why I traded bearishly. And my bias right now is just like, what is the market going to go up for right now? Really think about it. I mean, think to yourself, what's the market have to go up right now? Like based on, I mean, you look at Tesla, my goodness, I guess Tesla could see a little short squeeze. It's bounced a little bit off of its lows, but holy moly, Tesla, look at this volume on Tesla. This is the type of volume you got to move the chart because this candle's so big. We're going to see the largest selling volume on Tesla that we've seen in years. Yeah, literally years, since like back in 2020, July of 2020. I mean, just shocking. Just crazy stuff. Or actually, no, more like March of 21. You look around at Apple, we're seeing capitulation from Apple, or not really capitulation, but we're seeing Apple, which was the safe haven, which is, it's a company that people have been taking their money out of, companies like Square and Coinbase and all those very risky, risk-on assets, and they've thrown their money into Apple because Apple's rock solid, right? But now we're seeing new lows on Apple. Apple just made 52-week lows today, and if you look at Apple, we are just in this nice little falling wedge, which also, look at the fake out. Look at the fake out breakout on that. Faked out this morning right off of that supply. Look at that. I had that box there already this morning. Just beautiful. I mean, just mwah, beautiful, that rejection. Holy moly, look at that. Open, one green candle, and dump, and then just, I mean, it went from 129 straight down to 125 over the span of like half an hour. Just crazy dump right out of that supply zone. So that's why supply and demand is so very important, because you just have to know where sellers are waiting. And you could see wick up right there, rejected, because there's still sellers here. See this gap? You see that? Still sellers. It sold out of that so fast that there's still sellers waiting up there. And sure enough, when we go close to that, sellers step up, and the bull said, nah, we're not buying here. I mean, we're not buying here. We know Apple's going to come down. But back to what I was saying, like, what does the market have to go up for right now? Are we getting a CPI read? Is the Fed going to say something? Fed might say something. You never know. We could get some surprise news. But right now, what's the big thing the market's looking forward to? Of course, the next CPI report. But besides that, earnings are going to be monumental this quarter. And I mean, they might be the biggest earnings in a decade, no joke. It's crazy because, I mean, during COVID, everyone was expecting earnings to go down. Obviously, everyone knew earnings were going down. The economy's locked up, but no one gave a shit because the Fed was pumping so much money into the stock market that it didn't matter. But now, Fed ain't pumping. They are doing the opposite. They are vacuuming money out of the market. They are jacking rates to the upside. They are tightening everything. And we don't know how that's going to affect earnings yet. Everyone projects that they're going to be bad, but if we see below projection earnings, I believe that might be a bottoming process this quarter. But you just have to think also grand scheme of things. Usually, first day of the year is a lot of new money comes into the market. Usually, people are saddling up. They're ready to buy back in, especially after a year of pain. How many people were like, I'm done buying for 2022. I'll buy in 2023. And still, we just could not. It was still the same as it was all year last year. All just these fake pumps are just dumped immediately, these fake out pumps. So we're still in that same market. This isn't a different market. We're still in 2022. But we're in 2023. Same rules apply. They can fake pump it all they want, but it's almost always a fake out. It's almost always just a complete bull trap. How many people got trapped right there? And then they dump it, just billions. And I mean, this is billions of dollars worth of dumping. We went from SPY 386 straight to 380.23 over the span of about half an hour. I mean, that's a billions of dollars lost right there. And that is the power of the bears. It's crazy. So even on a day like today where things couldn't be more upbeat, where it's like finally the new year, new money's coming in, it just didn't matter. So you have to think about that, how bearish things are, where even with all that new sentiment where people are like, finally 2022 is over, it still didn't matter. The market still dumped, and the biggest company in the market dumped hard, dumped 4%. Apple, 4%, crazy. But another thing to note was that big rip in the open was a gap fill. The spot S&P had a gap to fill above that, and look where it ripped up to. Wow, I'll be damned, right at this supply zone, right where sellers are still waiting up here. Sellers still up here, still sitting there. They're hanging out. They're waiting. So got to watch out for that for the future. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. It's just like, what do we have to go up off of? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think earnings are just going to be very bad. I think the market is just looking forward to that. The last CPI read we got was fantastic. It was like the best news ever. It was like inflation's down more than we thought. And what did the market do? Just immediately dumped. Immediately it dumped. So I don't even know if CPI can save us from here, because now it's not really so much about unemployment, or it's not so much about inflation. It's more about unemployment, because the Fed has stated unemployment market is still, or labor market is still extremely tight. It's still too inflationary. If we drop rates here, we know inflation is just going to go back up. So they know they have to see unemployment go up before they think about dropping rates, because that is the ultimate sign of the strength of the economy. If unemployment doesn't move, then the economy's still just too red hot. It's still too fired up. Everyone's still spending too much money, you know? So that's what the Fed's looking for, and I think that's what the market is realizing now. But looking at the Nasdaq, same thing. I mean, the Nasdaq did the same exact thing. See this little fake breakout? We're in this box. What's it do? It breaks out. Oh, we're bullish as hell. No, we're not. Massive rejection, huge rejection on the Nasdaq. So we know supply zone way up here. I mean, it bounced off this gap. It has this monster gap to the upside on the Nasdaq, a full percentage point gap, and it couldn't even get close to it. So we know sellers are still waiting there. There's still sell orders from that 270, 65 and above point. But there is a gap to fill, so we could quickly fill that gap if we do get some bullishness here. But it looks like we are just also in the same consolidation zone, and the Nasdaq is. Look at this, just same thing in this nice little box. Been consolidating in here, not nearly as long as the S&P. The Nasdaq, mind you, has been much weaker than the S&P, but we're back in this little box, consolidating. So that's what I kind of want to urge in these times where we are just going sideways basically on the S&P for like 12 trading sessions straight, is that be patient and wait for the breakout. But don't just see the breakout and go crazy bullish. Oh my God, we broke out to the upside. Buy calls. You got to be patient. You got to wait and see. Is it actually going to hold up? Because if we just get a little breakout of 15 minutes and then the next red candle drags it down a full percent, it's like it was obviously a fake out. You got faked out. You're trapped. You got squeezed. You're the clown. You're the dumb money. And you don't want to be dumb money. You want to be smart money right now. So you got to keep all of this in mind. But if we do get a solid breakout and it holds up, what's above us? Well, we have, I think 390 is where we'll run up if we do break out of this. And I think 390 is where we will get a hard rejection, a very intense rejection at that level. I would say so myself. 390. And then if we break out above 390, it's like, how much room to the upside do we have right now? We still know this trend line is up here. We'd come up and hit this at maybe like 400, and then we still have the 200-day moving averages right there. So it's like there's really just not that much upside right now. But then you look to the downside, and it's like, man, we are still a mile off of our lows. We are still a long ways from the lows. So that's why I'm leaning more bearish. And on top of that, tech has just been so insanely weak. Like nobody is buying tech right now. Nobody. You look at NVIDIA. Oh, that's another setup I told you all about. I hope you guys might have traded that. I didn't personally. I just traded the S&P today. But look at this. I drew these cute little arrows. I told you all, God, this is so easy, man. You guys got to fucking subscribe. Hit the bell. I told y'all, look at this falling wedge. Not a falling wedge. Look at this falling channel, descending channel on NVIDIA. I would not be surprised, I told y'all, I would not be surprised if we break out of this and we get a nasty fake out and then we reject off of 147.50 and God damn, what the hell happened? We did exactly that. We ripped up, we ripped up a little higher than I anticipated, but we still ripped up, couldn't touch the gap over here, and just dumped. Fake out, nasty fake out, and then look what happened. We had this trend line right here. This beautiful trend line. What happened when we broke that? We dumped. We dumped it, and yeah, NVIDIA looks super weak to the downside right now. It looks like, so look at this. This channel's still here, right? It's still here. Look at that channel. It's still there. What did we do? We tapped off of it. So we heading back down to the bottom of that channel? Man, we got to zoom out to see the bottom of that channel. Sheesh, this thing's way the hell down here. What are we heading down to? It's NVIDIA, so it can definitely do that. That's the thing. You can't be like, oh, it can't go down that fast. This is NVIDIA we're talking about. It certainly can go down that fast, and I believe it will. So we could head to the bottom of this channel. We could head straight for 127. No joke. No freaking joke. I'm not flipping your flapjacks. Or even 120 if we were to come down like this kind of rhythm. Yeah, 120. I mean, that's looking like next stop on NVIDIA. Not going to lie. I would not lie. But that's what I've just been saying. You just got to watch these fake outs, man. It's never easy on the way down. It can get very easy on the way up because there's rarely like hardcore bear traps. But the way down, you get these crazy bull traps where things jump up. I mean, what was the opening candle this morning? Things jump up like 2%. And then we go up another percent after that where we get these like gap ups and then we just shoot up out of a cannon. And it is looking like, wow, we're breaking out of that channel. So ignore that. Imagine you don't see what happens next and you see those on the far side of the screen. You see those candles. You see that green candle? And you're thinking, that's it. I know my trend line's right there. We're breaking out, right? We are breaking out. Oh, and no, we are not. That was the worst bull trap I've ever bought into. And I am an idiot, and I will not learn my lesson because I am just too bullish because I get FOMO. But why would you get FOMO in this market? Really? I mean, really? What are you getting FOMO about? Everything's going down. Everything. Everything's going down. Like, really, what are you talking about? You're getting FOMO right now? What are you getting FOMO that Tesla's gonna run back up to 120 and you didn't buy the very, very bottom? Oh yeah, I'm sure that's gonna happen. Yeah, Tesla's gonna run up to 120 and you're gonna be like, dang it, I didn't buy at 108. Please, man. Please look at all this upside Tesla had. Look at how far down it is. Are you serious right now? Come on, bro. I'm just trying to tell y'all what it is, what it do. Qualcomm is down about 2%. AMD's holding up pretty decently today. It looks like it's also about to tap that little trend line. Look at that trend line where it faked out. It didn't break above it. It dumped below it. Look at that on AMD, man. Watch out. What else do we got? Microsoft. I don't think Microsoft really did a lot today. Yeah, Microsoft's been weird, man. Microsoft has just been a weird stock recently. It has just been boring. Holy moly. Look at this boring-ass stock, bro. 234 to like 244, just this range. What else do we got? What else? So looking at the Nasdaq, my levels on the Nasdaq have been pretty clear this entire time. We know we have a key level up at 267, and now we know that there's still sellers waiting up here. We know it. There's so many sellers up here. Let's give it a nice little red background because that's where the sellers are. So we know the sellers are hanging out up here in this little box. So you watch. If we approach that again, you get very concerned. If you're in calls and we approach that, I mean, that's way up there. That's like a 1.5% up there. You got to watch out. But that's what I'm seeing on the Nasdaq. To the downside, it looks like Nasdaq. I mean, we have a gap to fill that we have tapped off of this. So we actually have like a triple bottom kind of thing going on right here on the Nasdaq. Now, mind you, I'm not like saying we're immediately going to go down from here. I could see us going up from here, honestly. I'm thinking, though, that just this month in general, when we look back at it, it will be a month where we like see things drop like 10%. I think we'll see SPY drop like 10% by the end of this month. I'm not kidding. And that's not like a crazy projection. I mean, look at this. Look at the graph. Look what the market's done this year. It is not outlandish at all. But the Nasdaq, we know right now, we know this. This is factual. Support is at 262.26, and that is support until we break below it. And you got to watch out for that because below that, we got a big fat gap. We got a monster gap all the way down to 260.29. But then we're still in this box. So even if we go to fill that gap, I wouldn't be surprised if we do this. Watch this. I'm going to draw exactly what's going to happen right here. And y'all are going to get it for free. We're going to run up off of that. We're going to tap it. We could run up higher. I doubt it. We're going to tap off of that. Come down here. Come on down here. We're going to run, tap that, bounce, come up, bounce off of that one, and then we go fill the gap. And we fill the gap, and then what happens? We bounce again, and then we bounce back up to maybe 261, 61, and then we come back down, and we eventually make new lows on the Nasdaq. You heard it here first, folks. That's my scientific prediction right now on what's going to happen with the Nasdaq next. But I usually don't do these kind of predictions, but I think the market right now is just it's been very strange. I think we're just, you just look at the S&P and it's just like pure indecision right now. We are so indecisive. Bulls don't know where they want to go. Bears don't know if they want to short. It's been a very odd 12 trading sessions, and that is why when you see the consolidation, you just got to be patient. And I know you see big red days, you see big green days, and you FOMO. And then you end up buying calls at the end of the day, and what happens? It goes back down, and you're like, oh, shoot. And then it bounces off this box, and you're just like, getting yanked back and forth. I wait for breakouts. That's my personal trading style. That's my plan. I wait for breakouts, and I know once we break out of this box, we are going to see some movement. We're going to see some goddamn movement. So watch out. And when we break out of this bear flag, I think once we break out of this bear flag, we are probably going to run up, tap it, come down, break that, bounce, retest, and then we dump. We go down big time. That's what I'm seeing right now. So thanks for watching, folks. Drop a comment, drop a like if you enjoyed. If you did any of these trades and you made some money, like something off NVIDIA, I'd appreciate it if you told me. That'd make me so happy. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but obviously you can tell by the arrows that look like a 5-year-old drew. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.